I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, Lord, set on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind set on freedom. Hallelujah.
Change is always preceded by action. Action requires courage. It requires faith. It requires passion. It also requires risk. Action produces a movement that pushes against boundaries of what exists. For me, the choice was clear. There was more risk if I didn't act than if I did.
On July 18th, 2014, in the midst of the city of Detroit being taken over by the dictatorial emergency manager, Kevin Orr, and in the midst of unbelievably inhumane and devastating mass water shutoffs that were taking place in the city of Detroit, that, by the way, continue to this day, a group of activists, brave, courageous soldiers, took a step. They went to the premises of the Hamrick International Corporation, the private company that had been retained by the city of Detroit to go out and shut people's water off on a daily basis, hundreds and hundreds of people every day. They sat there for several hours. At a certain point during the day, a decision was made to arrest 9 of these activists, including Baxter. They brought a bus. What they didn't bring was a vehicle that was required to be used under the Americans with Disabilities Act for anyone who needed to be transported who had a disability. And there was insufficient headroom in the doorway, and there was insufficient headroom inside the van. And in the course of putting Baxter into the van, they physically pushed his head and his upper spine. Of course, Baxter suffers from a spinal cord injury, and no straps, no clips, no nothing, no seat belts or anything to secure Baxter. They transported him to the Detroit Detention Center. And at the end of the trip, Baxter Jones suffers some significant physical, emotional, and constitutional injuries. All of this was done in violation of federal law. All of this was done in violation of the United States Civil Rights Act. All of this was done in violation of the Michigan Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act. And yesterday afternoon, we filed a federal lawsuit on behalf of Baxter Jones seeking injunctive relief, which means that this case will not be settled without some mandatory order in place to ensure that this never happens to anyone else again. And Baxter is bound and determined to make sure that everyone is protected who suffer from those types of disabilities.
When I was inside the van, it was kind of scary, but I wasn't afraid because I thought about Dr. King. I thought about Rosa Parks. I thought about a lot of people, and a calm come over me. I feel like they was in the van with me. Change has got to come.